Hi, hello, good morning. I'm here. So today I'm working on a needle felting project. Actually, let me run that back. I am working on a felted wool project, which is different than my typical needle felting. Actually, what I'm doing today is I'm going to be taking a project that I've already crocheted up in a wool, 100% wool yarn, and then I'm going to be washing it in the washing machine until it felts together and creates a solid sheet of fabric. I'm quite excited and also nervous. I put a lot of effort into this. I got quite sick while I was trying to complete this project, so this has basically been all I've been working on. I already crocheted a snail's pace. I've been moving even slower than that. I've been moving like a snail with a cold. So I am nervous because I actually think the piece is quite pretty to look at, and if it doesn't come out nice, I might cry. But on the bright side, I am excited to try out this new technique. I'm excited to see what it's going to be, and actually I don't even know what it will be. Originally I was going to crochet a purse. This is for the Hobby Shades of Red campaign. They put out a call. They said, hey, we're doing the Shades of Red campaign. Does anyone want to participate? And basically the only rules were that you could only use shades of red. So reds, pinks, maroons. So I decided I wanted to try out crocheting gingham for the first time. I've never done a gingham crochet pattern. I actually did have quite a bit of trouble deciding on my colors because gingham, when you look up reference photos, a lot of it is white or cream, and I couldn't use white or cream. I had to use pink, basically a baby pink. So it was quite difficult. I did have a good time, however, and I do think that the finished piece came out quite beautiful. I mean, I think these colors are so pretty together. Of course, I was very much in the Valentine's Day spirit when this challenge first started. I'm quite late in getting my final photos up, and I do feel really bad about that. I'm gonna have to send an email today, but I'm so excited. So originally I intended this piece to be quite big, and I was gonna make a purse from it. Now it is still pretty big. It's about 21 inches across and about 11 inches or 11.25 inches high. So it's not small by any means, and I do prefer a smaller bag. The brown bag that I carry around every day is pretty small. So it could still end up quite small, but this process is a little bit unpredictable. So basically what I'm going to be doing is throwing this into my washing machine with hot water and washing it. And luckily I do have the right equipment. I have a top loading washing machine. So if you want to do this in a washing machine, you are going to need a machine that has an agitator, which I do. I have a top loading washing machine with an agitator. So that's the piece in the center that spins around and actually physically scrubs your clothes. Not like scrubs them, but like it shakes your clothes around. So that is what's going to be causing the wool not only to shrink, but to like meld together. You can also do this by hand on the stovetop with some hot water. I am glad that I'm not going to have to do that method, although I do think that that would be a lot more of a controlled method if you really were looking for a precise size. I'm okay with letting whatever happens happen. Okay, so I just pulled it out of the first wash and it didn't shrink very much. So that was a short wash. That's about a 15-minute wash. I did put it on the hot water. I'm debating right now whether or not I should just do another short wash or if I should go for a full regular wash. Okay, here it goes. Okay, I'm back. So I was having this moment of like, I guess, indecision about whether or not I should continue on with this video, because in truth the felting trend has passed. Like, it has come and went, and people aren't really even talking about this anymore. There was like a good, like, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks where everyone was felting slippers, and that was like the new thing, and then a few people were felting other things to try out the technique. So this really intrigued me, and it was something I definitely wanted to try, and I had it on my list. But I am a mom and I have 3 kids. I'm busy. I have a husband. We had, some trips coming up. Then I ended up getting sick. So This project, while it was definitely a trend when I decided to make it, it's not a trend now. But, you know, that's just kind of how life is. And like, I feel like things can just be fun and they don't have to be trendy, right? And to be frank, I've been a mom for 17 years now, and so I haven't been trendy in quite some time. So if you're like me and you're kind of never not on trend, you never get to be part of the cool group doing the cool thing, I hope that you do something that you want to do today, because who cares if it's still a trend? Pull out that piece, that craft, that idea that you had and work on it. Okay guys, so let's talk about gingham. Okay, so typically you're gonna need 3 shades for gingham. Now, you need, of your main color, for sure you need a mid-tone and you need a dark tone, and they need to be in the same color range. Now, where some people might disagree with me is I think that for your 3rd color, you can just get a lighter shade in the same tonal family, and that's what I did with my bag. A lot of people disagree and they say you need to use white. Well, wherever you fall on that line, you do whatever you want. And that is cool with me, because I think art absolutely has no rules and you're allowed to do whatever you want. And you're allowed to believe whatever you want. So, if that's the kind of art... Oh, look, there's my original doodle when I was thinking of doing my gingham purse. Originally, I wanted it to be a heart. Okay, so we'll use this page. So for gingham, you need your 3 tones, right? And when you're picking out your yarn, you might think, I'll just buy equal amounts of each, right? That's what I thought. That's what I did. I got 4 skeins of my lightest, 4 skeins of my darkest, and 4 skeins of my middle. No, you need to buy the most skeins is going to be your middle color. That's what you're going to be using the most. And then your light and your dark color are basically accent colors at this point. Basically, you're going to have your dark color. So this is my darkest tone. And it's going to be surrounded in a T shape with your medium tone. Okay. Now, you're probably wondering, what about up here? What about down here? Well, those are going to be your light tone. So right here, your light tone is actually going to also be surrounded by your medium tone. In a T shape. So say you wanted to make a sweater. If you have a sweater pattern that can be made up by squares, you can do this if you draw it out, and you can figure out how much of each square you need. So here you go. You can see my little gingham starting to come together. I will do a little bit more this way just so you can get the full vision. So here's my medium shade. So this would get blocked off here, this would get blocked off here, this one would get blocked off here. And then let's do this other side for good measure. So as you can see, you're going to use your medium shade the most by like a good mile. So there you have it. And that is your gingham your gingham pattern coming to fruition. So as for how I did my pattern, I basically did, so I made a square, right?
So I knew that everything needed to be a square. So I did 10 single crochet per row of color. So per block of color. So I knew I was going to need to do 10 single crochet, 10 single crochet, 10 single crochet across, right? So I knew it was going to need to be that way, and then I would need to do 10 rows this way in order to make it a square, right? Pretend that that's an accurate scale. So in order to make these squares, I needed to go 10 rows. Whatever stitch you go this way, you have to make equal to the rows, at least for single crochet, because one single crochet is about the same, it's like its own little square. So one single crochet is about the same height as it is the same width, okay? Now double crochet, if you were doing a double crochet gingham, that would be different. You would need to do, say you were going 10 double crochet across, you would only need to do 5 double crochet up. But that's not what we're talking about today, so who cares? My first swatch, I actually did blocks of 8, and I thought the blocks looked a little bit small. So I went ahead and did blocks of 10, and so I did 10 single crochet by 10 rows. And for this, I had no measurements and no idea what to expect. So I just did chain 100, and then I did single crochet in the back bump. So the back bump, and then it came out to be 100 single crochet. Now, is that correct? I have no idea actually, but whenever I crochet in the back bump, I come out with the exact number of chains I chained. So I went ahead and I just did chain 100, single crochet back bump only 100. And I did that in my dark color. So my back actually had a dark line all the way across. Single crocheted back this way. And then I switched to my colors all the way across. I only carried my yarn in one direction. So this is the right side. And so when I was, well, actually this is the right side. So when I was working in this direction, I would crochet over my ends. And when I was working in this other direction, I would leave my ends out. So you can see here, I actually went through and snipped all my ends and trimmed them. And when in the washing process, they felted down really flat. So this is like a solid piece of fabric. I don't have to worry about anything falling out, and the inside's not all yucky. So that is quite nice. But yeah, so here's my bag. I think she's beautiful. The ends are puckering up. It's actually been a few days since I finished, and I had this on my kitchen island, and my son kept playing with it, and I guess when he would put it down, these were flipped up. Since the only tie is in the center, these were flipped up. So now they're perked up a little bit, but all I need to do is spray those with some water and they'll lay flat again. But it's a pretty good size. So there's my hand. I'm not gonna grab my measuring tape right now, but I'll do like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 12 and a half maybe. I'm just using this part of my finger estimated. And it fits a bit. I put on this pretty like crochet ribbon. And it fits some regular size notebooks that you can find kind of a lot of. Now this one is going to stretch it a bit, yeah. So that one makes it a little bit, it's not going to close, but it fit these two just fine. And it would fit, where's my other marker? It would, it would fit all 3 of my markers in there. And then I am going to sew down some fabric over this to hide it, but I wasn't sure how I would like this ribbon on it, and I didn't want to make it too permanent. But I am going to get some fabric like some red fabric, and I'm going to make some nice squares to cover these ends, and I'm going to stitch those in. But these are just glued on. But I can make a pretty cute ribbon here. Alrighty. But that, I think that looks so pretty. And it gives off like the cutest little vibe. And then we got this. And I think she's so beautiful. And this is just an Icord bow that I had, that I made with my Caydo. And then these are beads. They're flat beads that I glued on, that I made these little ants, and then I just stitched their little legs on. And I think they're so cute. I saw someone on Instagram do that on a skirt that they had. And I was like, that is a fantastic idea. And I was already like in the middle of this project when I saw that. And I was like, I'm gonna do that. Alright guys, okay, thanks. Bye.